as a video tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring this in here. I got a new surfboard to match my blind surfer wetsuit. Let's see if I can do this without knocking everything over. It is a caution tape themed board, and it says, "I'm blind, yes really."
At the tippy top of it. Can you see me?
Can you see it? This thing is going to, with everything else that I've got going on with the wetsuit, you're going to combine the board with the wetsuit. It says, "I'm blind, yes really," in my handwriting, caution tape, and then people can see that my wetsuit says blind surfer. This is definitely going to keep me safe. My logo's on there. The Superdog logo is on this board, and the GoPro logo is on the board because it was actually a nice holiday gift from them. They saw how helpful it was for me to have the blind surfer wetsuit, and they also don't like me crashing into people, mostly because every time I crash, I end up losing one of their GoPros. But they were kind enough to get that for me. It was made by Rob Machado Surfboards. It was designed by Chris Hunter, who's the woman that does all the designs of my thumbnails and shirts and everything like that. I'm very excited about it. I did take it out for the first time this past weekend. Nisha and I went surfing with it, and the waves were absolutely outrageous this past week, and it wasn't a super great taste of the board. I was basically just trying to survive. I'll give you a little bit more on that later. Let's get right to the calls, mostly because I want to make sure everything's working because I'm all alone today. On the Thursday Pete and Greet, 760-517-6844. Open lines Thursday means that we can talk about whatever you want. Let's go to the first caller of the day. Hello, who's this?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
This is Matthew.
Matthew, what's going on?
Not much. I'm just a little sick right now, so I have to see your live stream and decide to join in.
Well, good to keep you company in your sick bed over there. I heard that a lot of people are getting pretty ill, and I heard that the virus that's going around is messing with people's breathing, messing with their lungs, which sounds a lot like that thing that we had about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. I've been doing a bit better today, though.
That's good. What'd you want to talk about?
How do you, when you surf and you can't see, how do you, stay balanced and make sure you're in the right spot your board?
Staying balanced is, I don't know, I guess it certainly would help if I could see what I was doing, but balance has never been a big issue. Even as I was losing my sight and then it went away, I've always kind of been able to stay upright. But I will tell you, when I very first started surfing, I was having a difficult time figuring out where the board was, which is why I very first started surfing with a short board. A lot of people, the bigger the board that you're riding, the easier that it is to ride. And a lot of people are like, why do you ride a short board? And for me, it just kind of helps me gauge where everything is when it's not that big. And one of the very first boards I ever had made, I had channels built into the side of it. So it was about 2 inches off of the rails were these little channels, little indentations basically. And I could put my thumbs in those indentations and go, okay, so I'm near the edge of the board, not quite on it. But as time's gone on, I surf about the same size board, usually somewhere between 5'9" and 5'11". And I just kind of, muscle memory. I've been doing it a while now, so I know where the board is. Knowing what the wave is doing is a completely different issue. You never know. If you can't see, a wave is a surprise 10 times out of 10. I never know what to expect when the wave is coming. It just kind of starts to pick the tail of the board up, and then it goes up in the air a little bit, and then I just kind of pop up and start reacting. It's a little frightening, but that's what makes it fun.
That's cool.
Have you ever surfed before?
I've always wanted to, but the only beach I've been to last time, or so far this time we went, we've gone mostly spring and late summer, but there's tons of jellyfish, so I haven't had a chance to. I've tried, but I do skateboard almost every day.
Jellyfish is that's not something you want to mess with. You don't want to be messing with the jellyfish out there.
Yeah, I've got stung multiple times. Vinegar does help, and mostly just rest. I've
been hit by stingrays twice. Thanks for the call, by the way. Appreciate you kicking things off with us today. I've been hit by stingrays twice, and getting hit by a stingray is like the worst pain ever because it's got a barbed tail and they're strong. They're the things that killed Steve Irwin, and I got them both in the foot both times. And the stinger and the barb go into you, whap, strong, goes into my foot is where it went. And then the damn things inject you with venom. I said poison the first time, and a bunch of wildlife people are like, it's not poison, they don't have poison, it's venom. And they inject the venom into you, and it just lasts forever and ever and ever. And it just keeps getting more and more painful. It's the strangest kind of pain, because normally when you get hit by something, it starts to get better relatively quick. The pain just gets worse and worse and worse. So I feel for anybody that's got stung by any sort of a sea creature, it is painful. It is the Thursday Pete and Greet. I'm Pete, here all alone. Just showed you my new surfboard here with my wetsuit. Off to my right is a Christmas gift that Banana gave me. I'm not sure if TikTok can see it, but it's a really nice little piece of metal art that says "Found a Way" as opposed to "Find a Way," because she said she's proud of me, and she says that I have found a way to do the things that I want to do, and that was a really nice gift. 760-517-6844 is the phone number. Who's this? Hello. I hear you breathing a little bit. And we are off to a slow start with that call. Next, we're going to go right to the next call right now. The Thursday Pete and Great, 760-517-6844. Who's this? Hello? Oh, man, people being really slow today. Hello, you there? I'm going to kill that person. You know, over the holidays, Banana and I watched a whole ton of Christmas movies. And by watching Christmas movies, I mean that she watched them and I listened to them. And I got to give everybody a recommendation. I mean, obviously I didn't see it, so I might have been missing out on something there. But a Jack Black movie that I think just came out this year was called Dear Santa. It got a 30 rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and we usually go to Rotten Tomatoes like, is this thing going to be worth watching? Should we check it out? And it had a 30, but we were kind of running low on Christmas movies, and we watched it, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was a kid who was like dyslexic or had some sort of learning issues, and instead of writing a letter to Dear Santa, he wrote it to Dear Satan, and Jack Black played Satan in the movie, and it was really funny. I mean, you know, just listening to it, obviously the way I have to do movies these days, I enjoyed it and she enjoyed it too. So next holiday season, I would strongly suggest checking out Dear Santa with Jack Black, even though stupid Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 30. It's the Thursday Pete and Greet. Who's this?
Joni.
Hey, what's going on? At least you're there. The other two people, they ghosted me and got all quiet. What's going on today?
Nothing. I just was finally excited to be able to call in and say hello in person. And you know, I always say if I ever get to San Diego, I'm going to go and take you to lunch.
Oh, it's Joni. What is your user handle? Because everything gets read to me funny. Joni BC Hunter or something is what it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joni BC is usually what I go by.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's exciting to talk to you and to be able to wish you, Banana, and all of the League of Badass Friends a Happy New Year.
Joni, it is so fun. I got to say, thank you so much for picking up the phone and calling today, because you're definitely one of the very original people, I think, probably within the first year, I think you were watching the videos, right?
I think so. I mean, I'm not sure, but I've been around for a while, and it's very exciting to talk to you because I love your message. I love your videos, and I love the fact that it's so contagious, and it has helped me adjust my thinking and my approach to life.
That is really good to hear. And that was something I didn't super think very hard about in the beginning. I remember when the videos started to blow up, and I was talking to Josh about it. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, you know, because I was doing shorts at that point. And he's like, I don't know, you just kind of seem like you have energy and you got a smile and you're telling these stories and it looks fun to watch you. And I didn't really think of that. I just kind of was telling the stories as I was telling them. And, you know, losing my eyesight, it was difficult to think about how people were perceiving looking at me. I was kind of just concerned with telling the story and making it a beginning to end story. And he's like, no, it's kind of contagious, your smile and the way you tell the stories. And it seems like you're having fun, and that makes me have fun. And I was like, oh, and I've been more conscious of that. Definitely, you know, the internet allows people that have negative talk and just want to start controversy. Those videos can blow up pretty fast. And I decided after hearing that from Josh and hearing that in the comments that the positivity was contagious. I've tried to keep the negativity completely out of the channel. I don't feel like it's a great way to get views, but I don't feel like I wanted to spread any more of that on the internet.
Well, you've succeeded. And to me, it's really important because, like you said, there are so many people out there who are negative, who who just put negativity out there and create these communities where the messages are harmful. And here you are, you're saying, look, bad stuff happens to you. You can either kind of let that become your entire life, or you can find a way to do something you've always wanted to do, you thought you couldn't do. You can change your mindset, you can change your motivation, and you can do it if you keep trying. And even if you can, at least you tried.
Yeah, and that's, you know, there's been a few things that we've done. I mean, I skateboarded a while ago. I skateboarded down a drainage ditch on a surf skateboard, and I mean, I did it kind of, but I also landed on my butt really hard and thought I broke my tailbone. But, you know, so it wasn't 100% successful, but I went out there and I tried, and you know, I had friends supporting me, and I enjoyed the experience. And I've been hard on myself this last year and a half, going out there being like, why don't I surf as good as, and I compare myself to like there's some really top tier surfers in San Diego, especially in North County where I live. And I go out there and I give myself this hard time, like, why aren't I surfing as good as some of the best people out there? And then Nisha always reminds me, she's like, you're surfing blind. She's like, the fact that you go out there at all is the fun part. And I have to keep that in perspective, because I also don't want to discourage anyone from, I don't want people to start getting the message, don't do it unless you're really good at it. I want to tell people, you know, go try anything new that gets you outside your bubble and puts a smile on your face.
Exactly. And, you know, life is never 100% easy for anyone, but it gets easier if you take joy in attempting to do things.
And that's what I feel like I've been getting from your messages. I like your comment. There's a few people every day when the text to speech announces the name of the person, I can tell it's going to be a thoughtful, well thought out. I mean, I love the people that say first, the people that are first on my comment. But I also know that they haven't watched the video. They just wanted to be first, and I'm proud of them, and they're proud of themselves. So that's great. But I like the people like you that actually watch it and kind of engage in dialogue, and people like Devil's Advocate and Zen Moon Master and Brian Murphy, Brian from Ireland. Some of you guys will interact with each other, and I feel like I've probably heard 90%, if not more, of your comments over the time, and it seems like you felt pretty comfortable sharing at least bits and pieces of your own story.
Well, thank you. And sometimes I feel bad, like when I start babbling on about my own stuff, but at the same time, it's a lot of that stuff I wouldn't even attempt to share if I didn't feel like it was part of the bigger conversation.
Yeah, that's what I love. I feel like we've built. So here's a little behind the scenes, which I wasn't going to get into. When we started this channel, I told Banana I was going to give it 5 years. And come hell or high water, I was just going to do 5 years, because that seemed like a lot of time. It has not become my job. It hasn't become lucrative by any stretch, and it has taken a lot of time. 5 years came and went yesterday. Yesterday was the 5-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I never expected, I thought it'd just be 5 years of kind of getting a few views and kind of building. I never expected the millions and millions, and then, 1.1 billion video views. But even still, at the end of this past year, we were strongly considering shutting the whole thing down. But I thought about the community, and every time, goes back to what I was saying about how I try and keep it positive. If I went out on the streets and I was one of those people that created a show that was revolving around controversy, and people were like, hey, I see your stuff. And you know what they're thinking. They're thinking, you jerk, something like that. I wouldn't want to do that. But when Banana and I do go out, and it's a lot of parents that are bringing their kids over, and they're like, my kids look up to you, my kids are so inspired, and it's the positivity around this channel and the community and the people like you that share their stories and seem like they're getting something out of it, that has renewed me and Banana to continue it on past our original 5-year mark. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of it and helping to inspire me.
Thank you. That means a lot. And again, I keep coming back because your positivity is contagious, and the people you surround yourself with are also very much of the same mindset, whether it's Nisha or Josh or Brooks or any, you know, it's, to me, it's one of those things that you create the community you want because those are the people who add to your life in a positive way. You add to their life in a positive way. And, you know, it has everything to do with how you get through your day, your week, your month, your year.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have people around that you want to look forward to spending time with, and things that you want to look forward to doing. It's a whole mindset, and you know it as well as a lot of the people that I feel like are part of this community. Some days when you wake up and you just think about the pain and the difficulties and the setbacks and the things that you used to be able to do and you can't do anymore, that's a dark hole that you can climb into really fast. But I try and wake up every day thinking about one positive thing that gets me out of bed, looking forward to that one thing. And then those kind of snowball, the positive things I look forward to throughout the day. It's a mindset, and it's not, I'm not going to tell anybody it's super easy. I mean, I went through a decade of being pissed and angry and upset. I was watching all of my friends as a late teenager. I was watching them get their driver's license, and I was watching my friends in my 20s go out to parties or just be out and about and making eye contact with girls, and very easily having the opportunity to meet people. And it was just difficult for me to meet people as I was losing my eyesight and as my world was closing in. But after a decade of work, I found a positive attitude just kind of opened my world back up again. Even though the eyesight shut it all in, the positive attitude opened it back up. So I think that's super important.
It is. And also I want to say, I think you and Banana are so lucky you found one another. I'm sure your situation made her look at life differently, and she helped you look at life differently. And I just think that relationship is really beautiful and reciprocal. And, it's not like you're relying on Banana for everything, and it's not like she's relying on you for everything. It's just beautiful, and thank you for sharing it. Well, and it just, again, it makes me think things are possible.
That's the crux of the message right there. Things are possible. Joni, I've been wanting you to call. I appreciate your calling. I do want to try and get through some other calls this evening. Thank you so much for picking up the phone, and thank you for being a part of this channel and community, and for inspiring me to keep on going. It's a lot of work, to be honest with you, but the fact that there's people out there like you who appreciate it, who have become part of the community, and I think people read your posts and get inspired by that, and that's what keeps me going every day. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, and happy 2025.
Happy 2025. This is the Thursday Pete and Greets. That's a neat little treat for me right there to get to talk to. It's one of the main reasons I did this thing. I love the comments. I love the comments. I mean, hundreds of thousands of comments I've gotten on the videos over the years, and I listen to tons of them, try and respond to as many as is reasonable throughout the day. But I thought about 7 or 8 months ago when we started this, I'm like, how cool would it be to actually talk to the people that are making these comments? Was one of the reasons I started this up. And to hear from Joni, someone I've been listening to her comments for years, that's kind of cool for me. So I'm glad we're doing this. The Thursday Pete and Greets, 760-517-6844. Who we got in the line right here?
Hi, this is Noah Hibbard.
What's the first name again?
Noah Hibbard.
Oh, Noah, what's going on?
I have a few questions I didn't get to ask last week.
Okay, fire. Did you get your, we will be doing I think Banana's going to come back with the old timey phrase game next week. She needed to start recompiling her list. So did you get your question right last week?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, congratulations.
So for this week's question is, this one I have two. First question is, how did you end up being blind? Like, did something happen, or like, what exactly happened? Were you born like that, like I was? Like, I'm also blind too, so.
Okay. I do have a number of videos on that. So the quick answer is I just had a genetic disorder. Mine was called Stargardt's disease, and it presented itself at the age of 8, and then kind of slowly ate my eyesight away from the center out.
Wow. Second question is, like, it was something about how do you get your mail? Like, because I'm still working on like trying to figure things out, and my stepdad asked me a couple weeks ago. He goes, "How do you blind guys get your mail?" I'm like, "I have no idea. That's a question I'm going to have to ask somebody else." But here we go.
I actually use, so I've been toying with using a couple different pieces of software on my phone. I kind of hate the mail because it's so time consuming. When I get my email, it just, pops up, ding, message from Noah, subject, what do you want to talk about today? Real quick, instantaneous. The paper mail, what I do is I have two apps on my phone. The main one I'm using right now is Seeing AI. It's a free app from Google, and it does text recognition. So I literally just hold up the phone in front of the piece of mail, and of course you have to listen to everything. You just can't skim it, and it'll tell you, who it's from, who it's to, your address, and everything. And then you pop open the mail and try and figure out which side is facing forward, and you put the camera in front of that, and it'll read the mail out loud to you. I also have been using ChatGPT, and they have a new real-time video recognition algorithm running. And if you hold your phone in front of your mail, you can have it read it to you, or ChatGPT, I can say, please summarize this for me. And it'll read the whole thing instantaneously and be like, you're getting audited by the IRS. Get your 2021 taxes in order. I'm like, oh, great news. But yeah, the ChatGPT will summarize your mail, whereas the Seeing AI, SEEING, Seeing AI app, free from Google, will read everything on the piece of paper for you line by line.
Yeah, I also use the Seeing AI app, but what I figured out is that if you're involved with, trying to figure out how much currency, like money you have, I figured out that it doesn't work for coins. It works for, the actual bills. But if you use, the fake play money, it actually won't. It won't work on that either. So.
Oh, I did not. I haven't tried. Banana actually recently downloaded. I think she found it on Instagram or something. She found an app that tells you the coins that you have, the year that they're from, if there's any errors on them, if they're worth any money, like really detailed. I don't need all that. But you know what? I never tried to use Seeing AI for coins. I guess I just throw the coins in the pile and let her use those for vending machines and stuff. But I usually just deal with I don't even deal with the money anymore. Like I always tell her, I'm like, what's in my wallet? Because it's, the apps are great. They're helpful. They can identify the bills, but it does take time. What's quicker is just handing her my wallet and going, hey, what's in here? And she can use her fancy working eyes a little bit quicker.
Right. And can you actually see a little bit of vision though? Like, can you see anything? Like any color, lighting?
I mean, it depends. So in any sort of light, I really don't have anything useful. Like if I were to take a bill out of my wallet and hold it up in front of me, I mean, I'd see a smear in front of me that was. It just, and I don't know what. There's no definition. There's no hard edges, and I certainly can't see what's on it anymore. If someone were to take my wallet, take the cash out, and put a bunch of paper in there that felt like money, they could write across it funny money, and I'd have no idea. Like I can kind of tell that I'm holding an object that kind of represents something, but I don't know what it is. And a person standing in front of me, it's I can perceive the light, so I can tell that there's an image blocking a little bit of light that should be coming from where that image is if I'm outside, but I don't know if it's a small bear, a person, a large trash can. I just know there's something blocking the light in front of me, but I have no concept of what it is.
And so one more thing about Seeing AI is that when I first started using it, my PBI and I first started using it, and we went around the school, find things that would what it would tell me and what it would show me. Well, I held it up to a water fountain. Long story short, it told me it was a urinal.
Oh, that could have been bad.
Yes, and it was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing.
God, that's worse because of the ramifications of that one. If you just listened to it and decided you had to go right then and there, that could have gone really bad. When I was very, very first using that app, I think it was like 2021 or something. Me, Josh, and Banana were walking around the house, and I was pointing it at things. And we pointed it at Superdog, my Doberman, who was still alive at the time, and it said a statue of a man on a horse. And we're like, what? What are you looking at? And it's definitely it's come a lot. AI recognition has come a long way, but yeah, if you're looking at a fountain and it's telling you it's a urinal, they still got a ways to go. Do not trust that stuff. I just posted a video about 10 days ago called "AI Wants Me to Fall Downstairs" because I kept asking it to count stairs for me, and it just kept saying. Eventually, I'm like, this dumb thing just says 10. Because there were a few people that were like, well, you weren't holding it in the right angle. I'm like, no. We walked up to 2 steps, we walked up to 20 steps, we walked up to 15 steps. It always just said 10. So I think it's gonna be useful technology in the future. But I mean, we're all smarter than people give us credit for. The visually impaired community, we're smart. We're not going to listen to it 100%. But you can get some pretty funny answers out of it. I like yours a lot. Urinal. What was it thinking?
That was back when I was probably sophomore year of high school. I'm in my senior year, so I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm still like using it. Now I have this iPad that I use for, in my homeroom class, where I use it for emails, basically normal stuff besides, AI. My teacher wants me to use a heck of a lot of AI, and I'm like, why? Most of it's kind of creepy.
Creepy.
And most of it gets things wrong. Like how, like I said, like Tesla cars, they are, not, well, I didn't say that, but I said to other people, I'm like, starting off, like Tesla cars, I don't really trust a Tesla driving me to places even though I can't see to drive.
Yeah.
I don't trust a Tesla because what if it gets a turn wrong and we go off a cliff? Like I would be terrified.
See, I had a bad experience. Getting into a Tesla car or a self-driving car really only solves like a third of the problem for me. And I keep telling people this. They're like, ooh, self-driving cars, you can go wherever you want. Like, I'm just not good enough. I've been made fun of. My cane technique is pretty crappy. And, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not being born blind, being born with eyesight and navigating the world with eyesight for a big chunk of my life and not having it, I'm just not good getting around by myself. So hopping in a self-driving car and having it take me somewhere, then what? Now what do I do? And I remember I'm afraid to take Uber. I'll admit this. I'm afraid to take Uber by myself because once I was trying to go to a doctor's appointment for my shoulder and the Uber driver could not find the office. We rode around the block 2 times and the guy's like, it's somewhere on this block. I'm not sure where. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to find it. And he's like, yeah, well, I can't. I've driven around twice. So I'm not going to be able to get you there. He's like, nothing I can do. And I'm like, okay. So I just opened the door and got out. And then fortunately I had my iPhone with me and I FaceTime Banana and I'm like, can you help me find this place? And so I was just kind of pointing it around. She walked me towards the building, but the guy, he just flat out refused to look for it anymore. He's like, I don't know where it is. And it ended up being like 3 buildings into an industrial park. So going places and getting places by yourself is great, but if you're not exactly there, it's kind of scary.
Right, especially if he just parks the car in like a random parking lot and you're just like trying to figure things out or figure where to go. Yeah, I get that.
That's very much what he did. He left me in the middle of a very large parking lot in an industrial park and I had no idea where I was. And and I told him, I was like, I'm blind. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do, buddy. I can't find the place. And I got out. I mean, I guess I could have. I mean, what am I going to do? Drag him out of the car and be like, show me to my doctor's office. He wasn't willing to do it. But thankfully I was able to use FaceTime and she helped me get there. That was not a cool situation. It is the Thursday Pete and Greet. I'm going to try and just move on. Thanks for the call, Noah. I'm going to try and do one thing real quick. He mentioned his iPad, which made me remember that I had an iPad next to me, if I can figure out which way is up. And you know what? I don't think I have. I was going to try and hop into the comment section, but I don't think I have it up. If I can listen to it. No, I don't think I'm there. I think I'm just on YouTube in general from what I just heard and not this particular stream. So I will close that up and we'll go back to some more of the phone calls. What time is it?
4:51 p.m.
4:51 p.m. It's the first one of the new year, by the way. And I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to continue even doing these. I wasn't sure if I was going to continue doing anything to the new year. But Banana and I have been having so much fun doing the old-timey phrase game. And it's always great to talk to people. And like I said, the old-timey phrase game will be back next week. Last week, there were so many people that didn't know any of her phrases, which was kind of fun for us. So we're gonna have all new phrases next week on the old timey phrase game. Right now, 760-517-6844. Who's this?
Hey, it's Fred. How are you?
Good, Fred. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I really, really like your work and am a huge fan. I was in hopes, and I apologize in advance if you've already done this on any of your videos, but I was in hopes that you would walk us through how you do a voiceover in the aspect of somebody getting you a script. How do you see the script? How do you learn it?
What I can answer that. What I do now, and it's because I've had years and years and years and years and years of practice at it. It's a very fast process right now. A lot of my clients are like, holy, like they hit send and then they have the finished email back, finished file, MP3 or WAV file back within 5 minutes. Usually it's that quick of a process for me now. What I do is I get the email. Now if it's on the iPhone, I'm using the voiceover feature. If it's on my computer, I'm using a text-to-speech program called Claro Read. And what I do is I will put it into a Word document. I just copy the email and put it into a Word document where my screen reader starts reading it to me. So I hit go on the script and I let it get about 3, 4, 5 seconds ahead of me. And then I start reading the copy as it's ahead of me, which was a skill that I didn't think was going to be possible when I very first started. I lost my eyesight. I couldn't read. I was no good at Braille. I'm like, what am I? It was really the only path I saw was figuring out this ear prompter system is what I called it. And so I just kind of kept at it for a year and then 2 years, and I started to become proficient at it. So now I kind of let the copy get a good ways ahead of me. I know where it's going. I know what they're trying to communicate in terms of tone. And I don't even have to pre-read the copy that much anymore. So I put it into Word, I hit go, I start reciting, and then I walk over to my Pro Tools computer and just kind of let it play. And wherever I hear a breath, or if I did happen to screw up, I can hear where that is, and I scrub back and forth and find the breath and cut it out and send it off for them to do with it what they need to do.
That's great. Thank you. That is also a skill that you could probably use to drive people crazy, repeating back what they're saying as they're saying it. That's
what, Banana will say to me, my short-term auditory memory, and it's this background process. Like when I'm listening to a script, I can't be super focused on the robot voice and its intonation and how it, like, I just have to take it as input. Like when people with eyesight look at a piece of paper, the words are just words. It's just input to teach them what to say for the copy. So for me, the listening to the robot voice and then in turn listening to people is kind of just this running process of input. And sometimes she'll catch me kind of spacing out and she'll be like, what did I say? And then I can literally repeat everything she said for the last minute and a half. And she's like, yeah, but you weren't really listening. That's not fair. So yeah.
Hey, comprehension is extra. I'm listening.
Right.
Listening.
Right. I think it would have been a good skill in school. Maybe I could have fooled a teacher or two, but Banana's wise to me. She's like, I know what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fred.
And keep up the great work.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the call. That was fun. It is Thursday. I think I'll probably keep this up every week if you guys enjoy. What's going on right now on the channel? As soon as I decided that I was going to keep doing the channel in 2025, I thought, what would be fun? I want to rehash the top 10 videos of all time because, and I'll tell you why. This is why I'm doing this, because hopefully a lot of people notice that YouTube Shorts are now, you can go up to 3 minutes. But if you're posting across platforms like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, you can do 90 seconds. And those extra 30 seconds are a lot of time. There's so many videos that I put out, a lot of the big viral ones like Gym Girl Freaks Out on Me, and he showed me his crack. And even one that I didn't even want to post it because it makes me sad, but I'm reposting the Superdog's Final Adventure tomorrow. And I'm thinking we're going to stay off social media tomorrow because I just don't want to relive that one too much. But I said I'd repost the top 10 videos. But anyway, why I was doing it is because there's so much more to these videos. You know, you put together the 60-second story, you tell that story, and there's so much funny behind the scenes stuff or extra footage that didn't get used. And after 5 years in the channel, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go back in time and revisit some of those. So we sat down, and it's been a crap ton of work because I'm still laying out my regular videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Plus, I'm dropping 2 videos a day every day starting yesterday and going through the next 8 days. So hopefully people are enjoying watching those. I kind of enjoyed reliving them, some of the older videos and the stuff that went on behind the scenes. It's fun to share. So hopefully people are enjoying checking those out right now. 760-517-6844. Who's this?
Hello, this is Rick Van Winkle from California.
Now that sounds like well, your parents either had a really good sense of humor or a stage name, but I like it.
I just want to say I love the work. I mostly watched you on YouTube.
Cool.
And what? Go on.
No, I said cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just enjoy your content. It's just a little slice of life of someone. You know what I mean?
I didn't, it was fun. I didn't know what I was doing when I started doing social media. I was trying to not let people in too much. I was just kind of like, hey, I'm a blind guy that surfs. And I was afraid I just had so many fears and phobias. And I was honestly, when I started the channel 5 years ago, I'd really only completely lost my eyesight for like a couple of years. And I was kind of new to it. And I just had all these fears and I didn't want the world looking at me as weak, or I certainly didn't want them looking at me as like incapable. But then I found the more that I shared and the more that I let people in, then other people were sharing their stories, and it kind of helped me. So it's cool when I hear people say that they appreciate the stories like that. Did you find did you find them first on YouTube? Was that the first platform you saw me on?
Yeah, I found you on YouTube.
When I very first started, I was doing YouTube and TikTok, and I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok because that platform used to take down like 30% of my videos for dangerous acts. It was a big thing for them at the time, 2020 through 2022, I think. Every time I skateboarded, dangerous act, community violation. Then they started taking down my surfing videos, like dangerous act. I'm like, what? I'm like, but I'm the blind surfer. You can't take away the surfing videos. And then I realized their stupid algorithm was just broken because there was one video where I did it 100% in my booth. Just one of the videos where I was telling a story and they took it down and said dangerous act. I'm like, okay, they're just screwing with me at this point. But finally near the end of 2022, they stopped doing that to me. Thank God. And I don't think I've had something pulled off TikTok since November of 2022.
Oh, okay. Damn, wow. All I gotta say is, keep up the good work, and also, what is your favorite like voice acting role? Like, what was your favorite role?
I mean, I think the very first time I got a movie trailer, I got to do SpongeBob, Sponge Out of Water. I mean, I was doing the happy dance about that one for weeks. It was just super cool to do it. And then the best, even in the moment, well, I guess in the moment while I was doing it, I was very focused on doing the job and doing a good job. But like as soon as I finished the session, as I was playing Optimus Prime, and it was for a commercial, it wasn't for a movie or a TV show, but I got approved by Hasbro, I got approved by the Transformers people, I got approved by a lot of people, and paid a good chunk of money to be Optimus Prime in a series of very, very expensive high-end commercials. And the fact that they trusted me with that voice to pull off that character, I was thankful and excited, like as I was doing that job. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever done.
Wow. And also, do you get your mail screened now?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the incident, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. They really, the one that got me, and I'd like to think, I think what you're referring to is the Primo 7 Primo pepper ice cream sandwich. Yeah, and you know what? Maybe that person thought it would be like, I thought I could deal with some hot stuff. It's just, this is the thing I keep trying to tell people about being blind is when something's a total surprise. Like if you're walking through the threshold of a doorway and you see it and you're like, oh, I'm about to hit, oh, you smack your knuckle on or something. You're like, oh, that stinks. When you accidentally smack your knuckle and you had no idea it's there, it hurts way more. And that's why when I was biting into the 7 Primo pepper pot ice cream sandwich, and I was expecting it just to be a nice, tasty, sweet sandwich, the fact that it was that hot was like a double whammy for me. And it caught me off guard so bad, and I'm just not good with hot stuff to begin with. I started gagging, I started puking, and then I was rubbing my eyes, and foolishly I'd taken the saliva in my mouth and got it in my eyes, and my eyes started burning, and I was all alone in the house, and I couldn't find the milk in the fridge, and it really, it caused a problem because I shoot these things in the middle of my voiceover day, and I had sessions coming up, and I started having to postpone sessions because my mouth was on fire. I was drooling, I was crying, I was dry heaving. And I was like, and I want to give that person the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe they just thought I'd deal with it and it'd be kind of funny, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was kind of,
Yeah, it wasn't.
it wasn't cool.
It was just really messed up.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
No, and since then, if something comes and I'm like, I feel like it's a stuffed animal, I'll still roll with something like that on my own because that's kind of fun. But most of the stuff, Banana grabs it first and gives it a check just to make sure. Especially in this stuff, I don't know why. I felt like my community was so cool. Like everybody's so genuine and nice, and I feel like we all care about each other. I didn't expect anybody to do anything like that. So when someone sent some interesting food, I just kind of figured, okay, it's going to be interesting. This will be a funny taste that I've never had before. But when it became kind of harmful, that's when I had to start getting it screened.
Well, I gotta go, but you have a nice day.
Well,
Pete.
Thank you
have a very nice day.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. I think I'm reposting my top 10 videos right now, and the number 10 one keeps changing. I've been waiting to record the recap or the behind the scenes of the top 10. I think today the 10th one was they ditched the blind guy. It's when Brooks and Banana left me on the beach and I got attacked by a swarm of insects rather. But a couple days ago, the number 10 most popular video of all time on my channel was the second ever blind guy unboxing that I ever did. And that one has like 10.5 million views. I think that whatever happens, I might do that one as the number 10 because I do have some interesting stories about the behind the scenes, especially the stuff that started getting mailed to me after that one. That'll get posted on January 10th. So stick around for that as I'm counting down the top 10 videos that I've ever posted. It's a Thursday Pete and Greet. Who's this?
Hey, what up, dog? It's Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on? It's always good to hear from you.
Shit, brother, right here in California, right here in Bellflower, just chilling.
Nice. I think I caught you commenting on I think you were on a different platform today. I saw you on YouTube.
All your stuff, bro. All your stuff. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I got you, bro. It's awesome. I love you, dude.
it was kind of surprising. I heard the username, and I think I was scrolling through Facebook, and I was like, Jeff's over on Facebook too?
Yeah, I just started it all up again. I actually just started a YouTube platform like a couple months ago. I just started doing social media again. All kinds of stuff was going on, and I kind of been off social media for some years, and I'm just back on it again. So
what are you doing? You want to plug it? What are you doing on YouTube?
No, I'm just doing some stealth camping, some over here on the coast, and then just like right here in the life of just a bunch of stuff out here, cars and everything I see. I just post anything I see and go live and. Yeah, I'm just having fun out here, good energy and stuff,
That's cool. It's funny. I did notice you on Facebook today because I went over there as I'm reposting the top 10 videos. I got a huge bump on YouTube and TikTok by posting the Gym Girl Freaks Out on Me from October of 2021 is when I posted that. Reposted it to Facebook today. I realized I hadn't been using Facebook at all. Like I hadn't been using it for the first 2 years of the channel.
Yeah.
So they missed all that stuff. I just kind of came in halfway through. I reposted Gym Girl Freaks Out on Me yesterday on Facebook, and it got like 1.8 million views. I'm like, all right, these people haven't even seen this thing yet. No,
that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a lot on Facebook, right? That's a whole lot.
It is a lot on Facebook, but I felt kind of like I want those people to understand, like It's a repost. Like I already got a couple requests for interviews off of Facebook, a couple local radio stations in California. And they're like, you want to come on and talk about this? I'm like, not really, man. Cause it was a few years ago at this point.
I'm not interested in talking about that no more. But
Yeah.
it's bringing people in though. That's good. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I found you on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on it, bro. Yeah, definitely. I watched the Christmas carols one too. You did. That one was nice. I actually brought that one into to my mom, and I told you she's blind, so I actually brought it into her, and she brought a tear to both of our eyes. It was cool. It was cool because she's special. So, hey, can you say hi to her real quick?
Yeah. What's her name again? I forget.
Kimberly Stanger. Kimberly. Is this Kimberly? Yeah, Kimberly.
Kimberly.
1 second.
Yep.
She's playing Scrabble right now. She like I told you, she just went through the stroke and everything. So she's playing Scrabble right now by herself. And I just told her that you probably say hi to her real quick. So
You going to put her on or?
Yeah, this is the blind surfer right here, Mama.
Hello.
Hey, Kimberly, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
You know, I love hearing from Jeff. The first time he called, his energy and his attitude, and he was telling stories about you and how when you lost your eyesight, it didn't slow you down too much. You were still walking around and getting around, and it's really cool to hear his energy. You raised a good boy there.
I had a good boy. He's pretty good.
So
yeah, over here at the parents' house, and I'm right here just chilling for a little bit, and I just definitely wanted you to say hi to her. She's trying to get her speech back and stuff, better and stuff, but she's still kicking butt, after the stroke and everything, right, Mom?
Yep.
Wow, good for you. Just keep on keeping at it. And who's winning the Scrabble game right now? You or you?
You or you?
You're winning now, Mom. I just wanted you to say hello to her and give her some spirits because you do that to everybody. And I want to let everybody get on here and let everybody talk to you because you raise everybody's spirits up, bro. So that makes her feel good, and she's happy right now to hear you. She knows what she wants to say, and just can't get it all the way out the way she wants to say it right now.
Well, it'll keep working at it.
You hear though, when I say something, she's like, "Oh, I could say it." She's never going to be broken.
Yeah, hopefully it all comes back. More power to both of you. Keep finding a way to keep going forward even after those setbacks.
Tell him again. Do it again.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna let you get back to it, Pete. I love you, dog, and I hope the whole team is good. Nisa, Brooks, Banana, everybody, anybody I forgot. I just want to shout out to everybody, and I love you guys. Let's go 2025, baby. Let's go.
Sounds great. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the support, and good to talk to your mom too. Jeff's been calling for a little while, and he tells stories of his mom. And I feel like when you lose your eyesight and you're a mom and you got a kid, there's one of the very, very, very first interactions I had on social media is where I'm reposting the top 10 videos here. I remember back in 2020 when I started this thing, it was like the middle of the year. I didn't have a lot of followers, and there was a woman. She was a mom of 2 little girls. And I believe she said she lived in Kansas, and she had MS. And to me at the time, I hadn't really had a lot of experience with the channel. I hadn't had a lot of growth. I hadn't had a lot of interactions with people. And I kind of thought only people with vision problems would be able to relate to what was going on in the channel. But she wrote me this email and said that she'd been recently diagnosed with MS, and she felt like she was using her diagnosis as an excuse to not be as good a mom to her 2 daughters as she thought she actually could be. And she said that she saw my channel and the logo of, or the motto of Find a Way. And she said because she saw that I wouldn't let blindness get in my way, she decided that she was going to start working twice as hard, buckle down, and start being a better mom to her 2 kids. And I was like, oh, that's really when it kind of hit me. Like this channel and the ability to share and not be afraid to say, I've got this disability, but I'm fighting through it is such a strong message when people take the time to listen to it. And she really did. And the fact that, I don't know, I mean, it kind of went to my head a little bit. I'm like, there's 2 little girls in the middle of the country that their mom is going to be more present in their life now because I put these videos out. And that made me feel super good. And it's stories like that have kept me doing this channel and making these videos and going on year after year after year, 5 years and 2 days at this point. It's the Thursday Pete and Greet. Who's this?
Hi, my name's Cole.
Cole, what's going on?
What's up? So, yeah, sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm a big fan of your videos. I really like them. I really like your content. I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
And yeah. Yeah, sorry. I'm just a little nervous.
You know what? I get nervous every time I start to do these things. I stand behind the two. I got 3 cameras over there, and I got to tap a bunch of buttons, and it's all text to speech. And I literally have to like sit back there and go. I have to like get my breath under control. It's a little nerve wracking, but it's just me and you talking
Yeah.
at this point. It's just us.
All right. Well, I know you're a voice actor, and I just have some questions that I want to ask about that.
Sure.
What's it like being a voice actor?
I love it.
Like-
I think
like-
it's super fun. Like people give you copy, and then one of the more interesting exercises I ever indulged in was I was with a management company back in 2013 or 2014, and I was really just kind of trying to find my own sound. And I asked, and I don't know if they were supposed to do this, but whatever it was, there was some commercial that we were reading for. And I was like, can I hear how other people are auditioning? And they were kind enough to send me like 20 different auditions. And I was like, what? Like I hear something in my head and I think of like 2 or 3 different ways I could go with it. Like this is the best way I could present this. But then you send one piece of copy to 20 different people and everybody puts a completely different spin on it, like completely different. And so then I realized when people hire you to be the voice of their product, their station, their company, whatever it is, their network, they're really trusting your personality is the thing that's going to relate to people. And that felt really good to me, that they trust my read, my personality, and the slant that I'm going to put on it. So it's, I get to, it's other people's words, but I'm putting my personality into it. And it's really exciting to do that every day, especially as many times as I get to do it every day.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It is really cool, though. I think you're really good at voice acting, and I like the voice that you do in like a lot of like trailers and stuff. I think it's really cool.
Thank you. There's so many different genres of voice acting, and trailers was always the hardest one because I was brought up in the mid to late 90s, when it was all about big voice, sound big, be bombastic. And as trailers went on and time changed, it got so much more pulled back. And I had to like get it out of my head that everything didn't have to sound huge. You had to like pull it back and tell a story and be emotional and relate to people. And it took me a while to make that transition. Then when it's funny when you're working on a skill and you don't quite get it, you're like, why is this so hard? Why is this so, month after month you're working at it. And then it clicks one day and you're like, oh, that was really easy. But it's only easy once you put the 10,000 hours of work into it. Then it's easy in retrospect.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I also just want to ask. I also, if I ever get a job, I want to become like a voice actor too. I think that's a lot of fun. So I just wanted to ask, do you have any like tips for voice acting, or do you just do it?
I mean, I always feel bad selling you on something. I worked with a company and put together an entire course. It's like a 3-hour course at voiceuniversity.com. It gives, maybe when you're ready or you really think you're going to do it. It's kind of a fun thing where I sat down and I gave everybody every bit of information I had about voice acting, whether you wanted to be in animation or promos, trailers, narration, audiobooks, video games. And then I explained, working in a studio and getting the right equipment and working with a coach. And I explain everything. But it really is, how old are you right now?
I'm 13.
Okay. I mean, it's fantastic. That's probably about the time I was thinking I wanted to do voiceovers. And because it's such a long ramp up time, like it's not a job. I've had people hit me up and they're like, hey, I want to sign up for Voice University. I really need to get a job. I had one guy's like, I need to get a job. I just got laid off. I'm like, well, I'm not going to take your money, man. Like, don't. This isn't, you're not going to get a job tomorrow. 5 years minimum before you're getting booked on anything, probably 8 to 10 years before you start making a living at it. So I started professionally working at age 18, my freshman year of college. I got hired by a syndicated morning radio show at the age of 19 to do parody movie trailers for the Rick Dees Coast to Coast radio show. And I wasn't good,
Uh-oh.
but we were doing parodies back then, so it was time in front of the microphone. So if it's something you think you want to do, I'm so glad to hear that you're 13 and you're planning ahead, because it will take a while. But these days too, the internet wasn't really even around when I was trying to do it. I mean, not really. We had to put stuff on CD or on tape and then mail it to people. The opportunities now, whether you can find work on other social media channels or just so many different venues, just find places that are looking for someone to read something and just start getting some reps in.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's pretty cool. Yeah, me and my friends, we all just really like voice actors. We really like voice acting. And they all say, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they all say like, "Oh, you should do voice acting. Like, you're amazing." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, guys." So yeah.
Yeah, if you got a passion for it. The only thing I'll say, a lot of the internet's brought a lot of the world together. There's some pretty big voice actors in all parts of the country right now, middle of the country, Florida, Minnesota, they're kind of all over. However, if you're interested in animation, you really are going to probably need to plan to move to Los Angeles for at least a while. The animation, just because of the way that they work with table reads and working really close with directors, and there's animation capture, stop motion capture for video games and stuff. Like, you can't be doing that remote. If animation is something you want to get into, you will have to do some time in Los Angeles at some point in your life.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because Los Angeles, isn't that where like they do like a lot of stuff like that, like voice acting and stuff?
Yeah, that's where a lot of the animation is done right there, and they're bringing you into the studio. And I don't think that's changed too much. I don't think it's going to change too much. That's kind of the hub of where it all is.
All right. So and I just got one more question.
Sure.
Out of every single thing that you've done, like voice acting wise, for like movies and stuff, for like, I know you did one for like the SpongeBob movie and some other ones. Which one would you say is like your favorite that you've done?
I want to try and give you a different answer, because I just told the other guy that doing the Transformers thing was doing the voice Optimus Prime was really cool.
Oh.
I mean, being the voice of Optimus Prime was pretty amazing. Like, I understand I'm not Peter Cullen. Like, I know he's the guy, but the fact that Hasbro trusted me to do that was super cool. I will tell you. So it was God, it was so long ago at this point. I think like 2005 or 6 or something like that. I just started thinking that I was getting decent enough to start putting my voice back out there again. And this is something I talk about in Voice University, I was not good in the beginning. I thought that just having this voice made me marketable, and I thought it was good enough just to have this voice, but I had no acting skills whatsoever. So I put out a demo in 1997 that was terrible. But by 2005, I'd done a lot of classes, a lot of acting lessons, and was starting to feel some confidence. And I mailed to a radio station in St. Cloud, Minnesota, WHMH Rockin' 101, and they hired me to be the voice of their entire station. I'd done some work, I'd done some commercials, I've done some promos. I remember when Princess Di was killed, I was like on call at the radio station I was working for, and I did a couple promos for that. It was like the first time I did a promo on air. But this station in 2005 or 6, Rockin' 101 in St. Cloud, Minnesota, hired me to be the main voice of their station. And it wasn't very much money. It was like $200 a month or something like that. But like the fact that they trusted their entire station sound with me was like a huge win. Like, it just felt so good. And knowing that everybody in the St. Cloud listening area, when they turned on Rockin' 101, they'd hear me, talking about the station or the morning show or the promos. Like, it was me all day, every day. And having one station trust me to be that guy was just such a boost to my confidence. That's kind of where it all started for me in terms of radio.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wish I could do that someday. That'd be really cool.
Well, you can, especially. I mean, if you're thinking about it now, I mean, it really is just. I can't give any better. It's a bit of an amorphous business in terms of there's no line to stand in and go get your first. It's not like a union hall or anything like that. It's just, being online and looking for people find a teenager documentarian that needs you to do a voiceover for the documentary he or she is working on. Just start doing like the voiceovers are everywhere. They're all over the place. And then you know what another good place to start is if you're scrolling TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts and you hear companies using AI voices, hit them up right away and say, I'm not even going to cost that much, but I want to give you a real voice. I think that's a great, I don't want to do a lot of those jobs because they're obviously not willing to pay at this point, and this is my job. But if you're just building a career and you're just getting going, getting something on tape and saying you did it is as good as money at that point. And they're being cheap. They're using the stupid AI voice because it doesn't cost anything. If you hit them up and tell them you'll do it for cheaper or nothing just to get a bit of a resume material or demo material going, they might be receptive to that.
Yeah, because me personally, and I know a lot of people love AI for some reason, but me personally, I've never really cared for AI. I always thought it was strange just to use a robot instead of like a real person. And I don't know, I always just thought it was like really odd, I guess, but yeah, I don't really care for AI.
No, and there's a lot of, thank you so much for the call. There's so much, is an AI voice that sounds good gonna get the message across? Yes. And if you're just looking to have some bit of information relayed, if it's a corporate explainer or something, I don't know, I guess the AI is better than making the people read it or something like that. But when it comes to voice acting and you're connecting through your emotions, you're connecting to your viewer and listener with your depth of experience and emotional well that you've built up over your life. And when they want you to say a line as simple as, at age 10, he lost his brother. AI is going to give it to you one way. AI doesn't know anything other than it's one way. At age 10, he lost his brother, which gives you the information. You found out that a young guy lost his brother at the age of 10. But is it the beginning of a horror? At age 10, he lost his brother and then grew up to be a mass murderer. Or is it a tragedy? At age 10, he lost his brother. Like, is it going to be sad? Or is it an inspirational thing? At age 10, he lost his brother, but overcame. There's so much nuance to every line that they ask you to deliver. I don't want to say never, because technology can be pretty amazing. But, if someone thinks that they can program a robot to figure out which emotion to put out and then do it at the right time, at the right place, and the right speed, we're just not there. And the people that are using AI and think the AI is going to take over voice acting, like, no, you don't have to worry. If it's real acting and real connection you're looking for, the robot's going to give you the words, but it's not going to give you the connection. It's a Thursday Pete and Greet. Who's this?
Hello. Hey, Pete, this is Spencer from Oklahoma.
Spencer.
Long-time watcher, first-time chatter.
Thank you. That's one of my favorite terms. I used to intern in radio in the mid '90s in Boston. I used to love it when people call the radio station like long-time listener, first-time caller. I never in a million years thought that I'd be someone hosting a show and on the opposite end of that. So that's a fun throwback. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, of course. So I'm like a big fan, right? And I've actually been visually impaired for like the last a little over 2 years. And it kind of happened rather spontaneously, but similarly to you, it kind of affected my central vision.
Yep.
And actually, I remember, you were saying when people's heads would disappear, I have a bit of that,
Yeah.
I kind of explained to people it's like the paper towel tube and the hand, and it kind of looks like there's an uncanny valley where, there's something's there and it's not quite there. But yeah, it's funny. I did this program through DRS at the Oklahoma School for the Blind, and it was just kind of funny because obviously you came up as well as what's her name?
Molly Burke.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of neat, because you're kind of this celebrity on YouTube, but especially within the blind community. And it was really fascinating because I was able to I already had, I was the least blind or the most sighted person there. My acuity is 20 over 1250 on my good eye. So it's not terrible, but and I have like a ton of peripheral vision. Like I don't need to use my cane really to like for mobility reasons. But you know, any text or stuff like that is definitely difficult. But it was really cool though, because you know, there was a number of the people there who were totally blind. There was like a group of 9 of us, you know, that were kind of, it was like a day camp skill thing, right? Yep. And I was able to work with other people who were, you know, visually impaired, and it was kind of fascinating, you know, because so many people in this community are also visually impaired people, you know, and kind of like learning how to like, you know, I think it was kind of easier kind of somewhat being in those kinds of shoes, you know, because it is one of those things that is so kind of difficult, you know, I think to explain, you know, like, what do you see or what is it like, you know, and
let me ask you, you said you started losing it from the center out like me. So I actually don't think I realized at the time that I was losing my vision from the center out. I started like turning my head off to the side. I didn't realize I was doing it. And my friends at the time, you know, I was in elementary school, and they were like, it's just what I was doing. Like I was just kind of turning my head off to the side, because when I looked directly at them, their head wasn't there. So naturally as a kid, if I looked at something that wasn't there and I turned my head and it was there, so I would turn my head and it was there. It was really, and everybody was like so cool with it, like through elementary school, junior high school, high school. I finally, my first day of college, I will never forget this. I was standing in line to go into the freshman dorm. I'm at Boston University, and I start asking the kid in front of me, I'm like, hey, is this the line to get into the Warren building? And the person next to him answers the question. I'm like, huh? Like, why did that person answer the question? And then I finally get assigned to a dorm. I end up at a different dorm in Miles Standish Hall. And my roommate, one of 2 roommates I was assigned to, very blunt, very honest kid. His name is Randy. And he's like, why don't you look at people when you talk to them? It comes off as super arrogant. I'm like, huh? I literally had no idea I was doing it. And between the experience, it all came together like that one morning, my freshman year of college, because I wasn't around the people that were used to me looking off to the side. You know, I'm talking to the person next to the person. My roommate thinks I'm being a jerk. I won't even make eye contact with them. And I was like, oh, and that's when I realized that I had to start looking at people so that they didn't have a head. That's what they wanted to see. They wanted me looking at their head. So I was, quote unquote, faking eye contact, but it was super disconcerting for me. Did you go through a similar process, or did you figure it out faster?
Yeah, well, so I went basically, like, I don't know exactly whenever it would have started. I know whenever I noticed it, in between the time, it was like early October that I noticed it. By the time it was mid-December or earlier, it had already progressed to what it was. So it was pretty quick. And, but at first, like, it was like no different than just like having like a lack of sleep and having migraines and just kind of like having kind of fog in my eyes. And sometimes, you know, if I was tired, you know, I would just have a hard time seeing, you know, and it would kind of go away, you know, or just stress or whatnot. And then it just happened to kind of not go away. And then I'm like, man, this is like, and I remember like one time, like I have to turn up the text on my phone. Like, this is kind of weird. And it was like a couple of weeks, and then another couple of weeks. And eventually we went to just an optometrist. And then, you know, it's like they have it on the screen now. And so they just have like the whole like 6 letters across or something. And I'm like, I have no idea. Oh, no worries. They keep going until they have just the one big letter. I think it was a K. And I'm like, looking at it, and I'm like, I think it's a K. And they're like, good job. And that's when we knew it was really bad. And lo and behold, it took a while for like a referral, and I got to a neuro-ophthalmologist, and they had done like brain scans and genetic tests and every single thing. They've gone through everything, and they basically don't really know why it happened. Right. And it's like people are like, you need to see a better doctor, but they come to find out it's happened to few other random people, you know, whether it's just the technology isn't there yet or something. But it's like, the nice thing is that it hasn't seemed to be progressive, and I'm extremely grateful for that.
That's good. That's good. You know, that was one of the things when I was growing up, the doctors kept telling. I guess I wish I had more information. Not like my life turned out bad. Like I feel like it turned out pretty great, but I kind of wish I had different expectations throughout my life. I was literally one of the first kids diagnosed. They didn't even call it Stargardt's back then. It was 1985, and they just called it macular degeneration. And, you know, there was no internet, so we couldn't look it up. And there were a couple times at ages 17 and 27 when the doctors, some of the top doctors, the top hospitals in Boston told me, it's done. It's not going to get any worse. And they were so wrong. Like, I hate getting
hard to hear.
Yeah, because you know they tell me like, okay, like, and I remember at 27, I thought my eyesight was so bad. Like I never got a driver's license. I was never able to like at that point I couldn't see my friends' faces or anything, and I couldn't recognize them from across a room. But like I didn't need a blind guy cane. I was actually still riding a bike in the city of Boston because I could recognize moving people and moving cars like as objects. But I remember thinking like, well, this sucks pretty hard. Like my eyesight's pretty horrible right now, but hey, if it's not going to get any worse, I guess I can deal with that. And then it just got, you know, then it all went away. I was like, man, you guys blew that diagnosis. And that's tough when doctors do that.
Yeah, I remember one of the people there at that program, they said, like, believe it or not, to all of us, you know, that you might be one of the first blind people that people ever meet, you know, and that was like really interesting, you know, and that's kind of where I realized I think there is sometimes like ignorance in questions. Like one of my favorite was like, so how do you shave? Yeah. And I like just like looked at the person who asked and I was like, how do you shave? Like, I'm like, I didn't, you know, when I was sighted, I would just mostly do it by feel and then just kind of see if I made any mistakes. But even now it's like, you know, I'll shave in the shower, you know?
That's what I do. I just shave in the, when people, it's funny because at a certain point, I just stop even thinking about eyesight. Like when I shave my face, it's a feel thing. You know, when people ask that, you're like, what do you mean? What does eyesight have to do with that? Because you go without for so long, you don't even think about it anymore. But yeah, you know, that's why when I started this channel, January 1st, 2020, I didn't explain my eyesight at all. I didn't explain blindness because I lived with it. I grew up with it. I understood, like, to me, it was all just second nature at that point. But immediately the questions, people are like, I don't get it. Like, how do you make your breakfast? How do you find your way out of bed? Like, what do you do? I'm like, why are people asking these basic questions? It's just because, like you said, there's just not a lot of people out there. You're going to be the first one people meet. So it took me like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years, even after the channel started getting popular and the videos started blowing up. I had to go way back in the whole process and explain like, here's what I can't see and here's how I get around it. And people are like, oh, but it was amazing. But why would they? You know, you're living your life with great eyesight. Like, why would you think about what it's like to not have eyesight?
Well, and like, you know, even though I have like a, you know, quite a bit of functional vision, I think it's because of that sometimes I even forget that I'm blind, and then I'm like, I'll just be like, oh yeah, you know, and you know, the color blindness too, like that's another weird thing, you know. So it's like, you know, and you know, it's like I lived 24 years of my life sighted too, you know. So like, you know, you know, when you weren't born with it, you know, and if you know you were, that's what your normal is, you know.
Definitely,
you know. But so I have another question. Actually, by the way, you were talking about seeing AI earlier. Props on Seeing AI. I'll shout it out again. It's a great piece of software, and they keep making it better and better because it was not great at first. Yeah. But and you said you used this other screen reader. I was going to ask you, have you ever used JAWS?
I haven't used JAWS just because I'm super comfortable with it's funny, like all the software that I was using when I still had some eyesight is what I use now. Cause I'm just like, I'm comfortable with it, you know?
I've never used either one. And, you know,
JAWS is great. I would say that if you're going to, Claro Read either requires a bit of eyesight, or if you're like me, you've been using it for years and years and years, and I just know where the buttons are and what to do and how to function with it.
I don't use VoiceOver on my phone, basically, you know, so I'll just use like the magnifier on it and go around that way.
Yeah,
I mean, I can, you know.
Yeah, if it gets worse, you know, just fire up the VoiceOver thing on the iPhone. It's a great piece of tech. You know, I just checked the time, and I think we already got booted off of TikTok. I only get 1 hour there. I'm going to take one more call though, and just try and end the evening. But thank you so much for the phone call.
Okay, take care now.
Thanks a lot. We're going to do one more call. If the TikTok audience is gone, sorry, I wasn't keeping track of the time, and they kicked me off after an hour. We'll take one last phone call here on the Thursday Pete and Greet. We got the last person right here. Who's this?
Hi, good day, everybody. This is Michael calling from Boulder, Colorado. How are you, Pete? I know you're doing good. I've been listening for a long time.
Michael, good
What's
to hear
new?
from you. Well, we made it through the new year. The channel is still going despite all of my early predictions. It would wrap it up after 5 years, but I'm still here.
Hey, congratulations, my man. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, I know it's hard work. I have a lot of friends who are also VIPs. That stands for visually impaired person.
Nice.
And they do a really good job on YouTube as well. And the production is stellar, but it takes so much time. It kind of beats them up over a few years. And I'm glad you're still sticking with it. And here's the main reason why, is because you are reaching so many people out there and spreading the word. And like just now, you're talking about basic information that people were asking you. How do you get out of bed in the morning? Are you serious?
Yeah. Like, how do you know which side of the bed? People literally ask, like, how do you know which side of the bed you're on? I'm like, do you really need your eyesight to figure that out, man?
Yeah, dude, I'm blind. I get it. I get the same questions. You know, I might sound a little excited, Pete, and I have to segue into this now. And I'm on my way to guide dog school. I'm going to be going this Sunday night. I'm getting my 4th dog.
Oh, wow.
And, I'm super excited, dude. See, I'm that guy that's always bugging you about mobility.
I know.
And,
one of these days.
Yeah, that's me. Well, I'm concerned about your safety, my good man. And I want you to be, like you do, I want you to be super solid and independent. I call myself a professional blind guy. Okay? So, I know orientation, it does take some time, Pete. It does. And I know that you're a busy dude and you're doing stuff every day. But again, I don't really mean to be trying to sell you this, so here I am doing it again. Because I figure if I hit you soft, you might be more likely to listen than if I hit you hard. But I can actually send someone to your home.
No, I understand. I appreciate where you're coming from, but we need to put a pin in this one because it's just not going to happen right now. My days
buddy.
are unfortunately not really pliable. I'm kind of booked every day, 6 to 6. And if it was super important, if I needed to get places on my own, if I felt like my life was restricted, if I didn't have the support system that I do, I'd be the first one calling you and saying, you know what, I need to get around, I need to get out. But I've got great people. When I do go out, but I don't really, I go from my studio to the beach, and I don't need to take a dog from someone else that might need it a little more right now. I'm good.
Yeah, right. So I'm not necessarily talking about a dog, Pete. I'm talking about Whitey. Okay?
I know, and
I'm talking about cane travel, sir. But this is the gauge, and I'll quit after this. We'll be more friends because I won't keep batting the drum on this one. I'm a drummer, so. Basically, if you go 3 different places that you need to go to on a daily basis, then you need this instruction. If, like you just said, you're going from the studio to surf, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you do have a fine support system, sir. I am very jealous that you got a banana. I would like to have one too. So, good on you, and keep up the good work, and let's keep doing the channel, man. If there's anything I can do to help you out, I mean, again, I wouldn't mind being a sidekick. Tell me about Super Dog Comics. Cartoon. What are you doing?
We have a whole set of artwork that Banana has approved a lot of it. She says that we have some work to do on the actual cartoon version of Superdog. I think we have another meeting next week. I think we're going to have a whole deck out by February or March and start looking for a buyer before the first quarter of this year. So it's been a massive amount of work and a lot of people are involved. Getting a cartoon off the ground is so much more work than I thought.
Right.
But we make process every day, and we took a little time off over the holidays, but I'm hoping that before the second quarter of this year, we'll have some answers as to whether or not it looks like anybody is going to be interested. I am going to wrap this up. I very much appreciate you, like more than you know, more than I can express. I'm comfortable with the terrible stick skills that I've got right now, but only because I do have good people around me. And like I said, I'm not going very many places. I just have a crazy hectic schedule where I sometimes don't leave the house Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Like I'll go out and take the dogs out, but I'm not really going anywhere. So do my cane skills need to be better at this point in my life? Not really. So that's why I'm a little stubborn with not taking the time to learn better orientation and mobility. We went overtime today because I was having so much fun talking to everybody. Great calls. Really appreciate everybody that gave me a ring. The Thursday Pete and Greet will be back next week, and it'll turn back into the old-timey phrase game with Banana. She'll be right here instead of me sitting next to my wetsuit. I'm going to try and get out of the seat. I kind of blocked myself in with my surfboard. The one that says, I'm blind. Yes, really? Because every time I tell someone I'm surfing, I go, I'm blind. They go, really? As if I'd make it up. Oh, great. Now I can't get that thing to stand back up. All right. I'm going to cause some problems on the way out of here. That's going to fall over. All right. Thank you to everybody. I'll talk to you again next week with Banana.